Hello and welcome. My name is Julie, and I'm so glad that you're joining me for this replay of Parent Break. I live, work, play, and raise my family here on Treaty 7 land, and I'm committed to learning more about and from the original people from where I live. And I encourage you to join me in that commitment wherever you might be watching this from. Today at Parent Break, we're going to do some of the things that we always do. We are going to do a little bit of movement. We are going to do some meditation. We're going to do some journaling. I'm going to share a parenting tip. And then you are welcome to share your questions, your thoughts, your celebrations, your struggles with me in any of the comments of anywhere where you're watching this. And I'm happy to engage in a conversation with you. This is really about community, knowing that parenting is hard and it's always easier when we do it together, not feeling shame, but feeling supported and knowing that other people are going through the same kinds of things. So always when we start at Parent Break, there is an opening question. And today's opening question might really make you go, might make you think. I hope it does. The question is this: where would you have liked your parents to be more flexible? In what areas of your life would you have wished that your parents were more flexible, less rigid in the way they thought about things or acted? That might leave you thinking and wondering. It might be something that instantly springs to mind, or you might be reflecting back and have to think about it a little bit. So I encourage you to ponder. And what I really want to do is bring your mind in from all of the hassle and hairiness of the day and come into this space. And so we've brought our mind there. Now we're going to bring our bodies. So this warm up has a little bit that I learned from my friend Lillian Mota from Stretch with Lil. So just wanted to credit her for that. But let's begin by just doing what I always love to do, which is inhaling up and exhaling down. We can do that again. We can even interweave the fingers at the top and just push up. And then invite a nice stretch out. Send those fingers out, coming down. We'll take one arm. I'm going to bring my right arm all the way up on an inhale and stretch the left arm down and just palm tree over a little bit to the left. And then inhale up and relax that arm down. Oh, there's a nice crack. And then we'll bring the left arm up, inhaling up. Send the right arm down or stick it under your bum if you're sitting down, and then just tip over here, exhaling, and open up. Let's open the arms behind us as an inhale and bring them forward as an exhale, and then we'll just shake that body down a little bit. Then we're going to do this bit of an experiment. And this is the part that I borrowed from my friend Lil, who teaches me so much about the body and how all the different parts of the body work together. So we're going to start by doing a little measurement because this is a bit of an experiment. So we're going to initially just look to the right and just measure how far your head is turning to the right. And then we'll come back to center. And then we'll turn to the left and just measure what you can see as you turn to the left. And then we'll come back to center. Now, here's the experiment. We're going to do some stuff with our tongues. So we're going to inhale and then stick out the tongue. Inhale again. And on the exhale, see if you can reach your tongue farther. All right, great. This is not a pretty thing to do, but it is interesting, super interesting. This time, let's inhale. We're going to try to touch the tip of our nose with our tongue. Inhaling and nose. Do that one more time. All right. Now, we're going to stick the tongue out the right side of the mouth, and then we're going to follow that around with our head. So we'll inhale, stick the tongue out, and pull it all the way around. Exhale. Inhale. Other direction. That's a hard thing to do. Okay. Now we're going to do the other thing. We're going to stick our tongue to the right and turn our heads to the left. Stick our tongue to the right, head to the left. Kind of feels like breathing is an extra right now. Please breathe, but don't worry about aligning your breath with the movement. So now we're going to stick our tongue to the left and our head to the right. Here we go. All right. Wipe off your face. Now we're going to draw a little rectangle with the tongue. So we'll start the tongue at the top right here. All right. And now we're going to do that on the inside of the mouth. We're going to do a circle in the other direction. So put your tongue up, covering your front teeth. Put your lips over top, and we're just going to make the tongue go in a circle around the mouth. So here we go. All right. Lots of crazy moves with our tongue. Now let's check. We're going to return our head over to the right, and we're going to see if there's any increased range of motion. Let's give that a try and see how much more flexible we might be. Is it possible you have increased range of motion? I do. I have. Let's go with the other side and measure that. Yes, I do have increased range of motion on both sides. And the most amazing thing is that our tongues, of course, are connected to fascia that are connected to all of these areas around the neck. And so sometimes by doing these crazy exercises with our tongue, we can really increase the flexibility that's happening in our neck and our shoulders. The body is an amazing thing. And I hope you're feeling a little bit more relaxed, like you have a little bit more freedom to move, because it's time to go into the meditation. So just before we do that, I always say 3 things. Number 1, check your space and make sure to take care of any distractions. Of course, if you're watching this on replay, you can pause, move anything that you need to move. The second thing is, when we come back from meditation, we're going to go into journaling. So you want to have a pen or pencil, crayon, whatever, something that you use for writing, something that you use to collect your writing. Could be a scrap piece of paper, could be a journal, whatever. Doesn't have to be pretty, but it does need to be there. And you're welcome to do journaling. You're welcome to do drawing, whatever comes after our meditation. It's really just an opportunity to get some things that are inside out. And often it comes more easily through the head of a pen or a pencil than it does through our lips. So I'm going to turn my camera off for the meditation, and I will see you back when it's time for our journaling. Enjoy the meditation. Or don't, I guess. Here is the meditation. See you on the other side. Hello and welcome. My name is Julie, and I'm glad you've joined us here for this parent break. If your eyes are open, I invite you to close them now, and let's take 2 box breaths together to move from the outside inward. We'll inhale, float, exhale, drift. Inhale, float, exhale, drift.
Today, we're talking about flexibility in parenting and relationships. The Family Virtues Guide says the following: flexibility is being open to the need for change. We cannot control everything, and being flexible means that instead of just getting upset when things don't go well, we see difficulties as a challenge, not always having our own way. We're willing to make the necessary changes. Flexibility means getting rid of bad habits and learning new ones. Flexibility shows up in a family in many ways. Firstly, when something isn't working in our own body or our personal lives, it's about making small changes to move things in a new direction. That might mean setting an alarm to remind oneself to wind down and head to bed to get the sleep we need. Secondly, flexibility shows up in conversations and decisions with our co-parent. It's easy to get stuck in arguments about how to parent around a certain issue. Who's going to win? I work with parents to help them determine the key values they want to teach, and then to help them stay flexible and find a parenting strategy that teaches those values. Lastly, flexibility is necessary when working with our children and teaching them the important lessons of life. I invite you to take a square breath with me as we settle into a short visualization about flexibility. Let's inhale, float, exhale, drift. As you continue to breathe comfortably and remain where you are, I invite you to plant your feet firmly on the ground and begin to imagine that you are a tall oak tree. Visualize the solid trunk, and as the crown of your head moves up toward the sun, you are welcome to extend your arms as strong branches of the tree. Feel the power and the strength in this old oak tree. A light breeze blows and rustles the leaves, and you stand tall and rigid, providing shade to those below as you've done for many years. Now let your branches come down, and this time we'll imagine what it might feel like to be a palm tree. Again, the feet are rooted down into the ground, and the crown stands tall. There aren't many medium branches on this tree, so we can leave our arms at our sides. As you become the palm tree, imagine a cool breeze rustling through the leaves at the very top of your tree. Now, notice what it would feel like as the breeze becomes stronger. Allow your body to move and bend in the breeze as a palm tree does. The winds are slowing down now. Both of these trees offer value in many conditions. The strong oak stands tall and rigid. The bendy palm flows with the weather. Which tree would you choose to be in a powerful wind or hurricane? In the end, when the winds have left, the oak trees will still be rigid, but they will likely be uprooted. Without flexibility, they will fall. The palm trees may have been blown about almost to horizontal, but because of their flexibility, they will remain to live another day. When big winds or troubles are coming, flexibility can definitely be an asset. We talk a lot about consistency in parenting, and sometimes we imagine that we need to be more like oak trees, never bending to the changing world or to the needs of our children. In my opinion, there's a time for that and a time for flexibility. We can be strong and consistent in our values and expectations, and we can add flexibility to our problem-solving skills and our actions. As parents, we may not always have all the answers, and that's okay. Being flexible enough to ask others and to learn new ways of approaching old situations teaches our kids about flexibility and helps us all to learn. Let's take one more breath together, and then we'll move on with the rest of the day. We'll inhale, float, Exhale and drift. If you're joining me here at Parent Break, we're about to put 8 minutes on the clock and do some private journaling. And if you're joining me in a replay on Insight Timer, I invite you to do the same. It was great having you here at this Parent Break.
Well, we're back, and there's a prompt for our journaling today. So let me share that with you. And then we'll get started in our journaling. So the prompt is, where in your life is there room for increased flexibility? Where in your life is there room for increased flexibility? So I'll encourage you to spend some time journaling. Let's journal today. There's about 20 seconds left in the journaling, so finish up. Still pouring things out onto the page. So here we are. Always mind-boggling what comes out in a journaling session, and how one gets to the heart of the matter, even though one's trying to potentially avoid it. I need more flexibility in getting to the heart of the matter. That's my own personal thing. So some parenting tips around this issue, around rigidity and flexibility. One of the things that comes up immediately, of course, is this idea of a power struggle, because in any kind of a power struggle, it's two people being very rigid, not being able to move, and fighting against each other. I want my way, I want my way, I'm not moving. And so what we learn in that, and for a while as parents, we do really have the upper hand in terms of power. We're bigger than our kids. We can kind of make them do things. Kind of, not really, but kind of. But that doesn't last for very long. And I have a lot of clients right now who are parenting older teenagers and finding out that that's just not a thing anymore. So regardless, whether you're parenting a 2-year-old or a teenager, often very similar things happen when you're in a situation where it's you against your child in a situation. Can we become you and your child in the situation, learning how to problem solve that situation? So can we be slightly more flexible in our wishes and in the ways that we approach things? We can say things like, wow, we're really stuck here. You want this and I want that. And we know we need to get to this thing. So how do we work together? How can we each find some flexibility? Or how can we work together really puts us on the same side together? So that can be very valuable. There is this idea with flexibility that there's a little bit of a softness. And if we think about that palm tree, there's a little bit of softness. There's still a firmness in a tree. Like, it's still solid. It's still standing. It's still grandiose. It's still dropping coconuts on our head. But there is some element of softness. So can we welcome that softness? Can we ask questions of the other person? And can we, with that other person, ask questions of other people? Or can we look into other ways that people have solved this problem instead of believing that we have the only way to solve the problem? So again, with our child, asking, showing a willingness to listen also models that for our child, that they can show a willingness to listen when they're feeling like they want to hold on to something. And then there's another one, which is, a lot of times as parents, we really believe in this element of consistency. As parents of young children, we develop these feelings, these values that we believe are what we're going to cling to. We see things a certain way. We set up a rule, and we're maintaining that rule for a long time. And feel that we're being good, strong, consistent parents by maintaining that rule. And our kids are changing, and the world is changing. And it's always important to bring in that perspective, put on a slightly different pair of glasses in terms of looking at the world, looking at your child and what they're capable of, noticing that your child may not be following these rules anymore because they're out in the world and they have a lot more autonomy. And so working with them to figure out something that still models your values, but also allows for the change in the child and the change in the environment. So there is room for that little bit of flexibility. And a lot of times when I'm talking with clients, that's one of the questions they're asking. Am I being too hard-minded by sticking to this, or should we expand a little bit here? And so I can welcome that conversation and help you to find that out in your own mind. And then I think there's also this element, I talked in the meditation about 3 different things: personal rigidity and flexibility. So being flexible with oneself, relationship rigidity and flexibility, and then parenting flexibility. So let's just come to the relationship part, because a lot of the work that I do with parents is 2 parents still married, still love each other, brought up in very different styles of families. Each of them thinks that their way is the right way. And so there's just no opportunity for flexibility. They really want to do it their way, whether it's in parenting or many other ways that a family works, deciding on vacations, deciding on whether you want to attend a function, deciding on how the money is spent. And I really encourage you to notice, if you're looking at it as which one of us is going to win, I'm going to win this, or they're going to win this. Whenever we're looking at something as one person's going to win, it also means one person's going to lose. And so oftentimes we have a pattern where the same person loses and loses and loses. Do we really have to have that? Can we find this area for flexibility where both people can find something that they want? Or are there times where one person feels so committed to their belief and it's so important to them, the other person's less concerned about it, so we go with the one that's more meaningful? I know that you will have found ways in your relationship to figure these things out, and I encourage you to consider whether there's any room for flexibility. Well, it is the middle of October, and this is the end of our Parent Break for today. Parent Break is going to run all the way until the end of 2023. So if you're wanting to come and join us, you've still got many left to come and join us. So you can always join us on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time at Parent Break.